podcast. As always, I'm here with my man, Aubrey Gray. For episode 3, we got another special guest for everybody. So episodes 1 and 2, we went to Southern California for you. We went to Central California. In episode 3, we're going to take you up to Northern California with Gerry Freitas. Gerry Freitas is an author at Prep Hoops. In his over 20 years in the basketball ranks, he has served as an assistant at St. Mary's, UC Davis, Colorado, and USC, and is one of the best scouts in the state of California. And finally, he runs the website hoopreview.net.
So Gerry Freitas, thanks for joining us.
You betcha. You betcha.
So the first topic that we wanted to cover here today, and in episode 1, we were able to talk to David Bouillon down in Southern California. And in episode 2, we were able to talk to Paul of 661 Hoops Live up in Central California. So we wanted to know from your perspective, what it had been like in Northern California throughout the shutdown?
Well, thank God for Phoenix. In the COVID era, I believe I've made 22 trips to Phoenix, whether it was me running an event or me scouting someone else's event. So that was kind of a godsend in that regard, to be able to still do stuff. And people from California came because they knew they couldn't play in California. And pretty much Arizona's been open except for about a month last summer. So that was a kind of a savior to a big degree. Last fall, I was able to do some workouts at a private gym in Hayward, and pretty much every kid in Northern Cal came at least one time. And, you know, I'm a former college coach, so I did the whole 9 yards where I worked them out. They played, I evaluated them, and I wrote up reports and sent them out. So that was another savior. There was an open run in Oakland for a couple months that was pretty good. And they had 2 sessions. It was on a Sunday, and younger kids played in the first session and the older kids played in the second. And that worked out pretty well. And that went on, but that was just really just pickup games. It wasn't formal or structured like my workouts were, you know, organized and structured. But that served a purpose as well. So those things helped continue the process for the kids and the scouts and people like me, because you can't just sit at home and feel sorry for yourself and think things are going to be better.
And it really did seem like it, especially kind of given where we were, that it was really kind of the second and third tier talent that was really kind of taking advantage of that. The Bay Area, what kind of talent was showing out to those events? Was it 4-star?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, everybody at some point showed up. Everybody, from top to bottom, both at my workouts and then at the open runs that someone else put on. Everybody was there.
Now, Gerry, was that the guys from Simply that put on that other run that you're speaking about?
No, they came to shoot video.
Okay.
Yeah, they just showed up and shot video.
Okay.
It wasn't just lower level kids looking to get exposed. It was the higher kids. It was everybody. So I think everybody understood you got to keep playing and find ways and work on your game. And that was always my message to the kids. Hey, if you break into the gym, I'm not telling anybody. I'll actually high five you. And they needed to keep playing and to stay on the radar. In those situations, it served a tremendous purpose. And then moving forward, when I started doing the events down in Phoenix, everybody from California made a tour of duty at some point. And now that's formal. It's live streamed by Baller TV. Reports are going out. And now college coaches are really jumping on board, watching a live stream, reading reports, calling me and asking me. And so that worked out really well. And I personally did, starting with Labor Day, last Labor Day, I did one event a month myself, and then I would go out every weekend somewhere. And really didn't have a breakthrough until in California until this April, a couple months ago, where I did one in Corona. And I have this one on the 13th in Corona lined up, and then I'll do the live event down in Ladera, July 8th, 11th. So we're almost back to normal. And as I've told a few guys, Governor Newsom has said June 15th, we're opening. Now, he's fired if that doesn't happen. So let's hope that that's the case, and we can get, quote, back to normal like we all know it's been in the past.
So a couple of years ago, we were actually talking with Van Coleman about kind of like the disappearance of like the skills camps. Like we were talking about Pete Knowles' big man camp that used to be so important. Were you able to find that kind of like, you were saying you were running some like workouts, like did you see that maybe there is more of a value to kind of like those instructional workouts rather than it does seem like it really is a lot of 5-on-5 and kind of pickup basketball that we see nowadays?
Yeah, and sometimes that pickup basketball, Jason, can be a little suspect in terms of the quality. So, well, you know, I'm a coach by trade. Okay, I coached 20 years. Mine was structured. I worked them out. They played. I worked them out. They played in a 2-hour prepared and organized format, and I coached them like I would when I was a college coach, and they understood the value of that. And I told them, hey, I'm going to be on you. I'm going to ride you and get you to work hard. And my message has always been 2 things, guys. You got to play the game, but you got to work at your game. How do you get better at shooting? It's not brain surgery or some big secret to say you work at it. And I have a concept. I do skills clinics sometimes as part of my events, and I call them competitive drills. And I teach the kids that you got to go full blast or you're wasting time. But some kids think all they have to do is get in the gym and play. No, there's a lot more to it than that. And anybody who's made it to the highest level of basketball will tell you they've worked on their game constantly. I mean, you see all these videos of Steph Curry working on his game. He's in the gym himself with a trainer working on his own game. That's a big part of it too. Sometimes kids miss the boat.
Yeah, it sounds like what you're saying, Gerry, is you know, you always have to be going at game speed to work on and the repetition of the competition level as well. So I think a lot of kids, maybe in today's era, you know, they're a little nonchalant, trying to be a little too cool, and they're not working on the rep hard enough at a game, you know, at game tempo, at game speed. So they're, you know, they're prepared to make the shot, highly contested. Definitely important training tips.
No question. Game shots, game speed. And you've got to emphasize that to kids, and they've got to know how to work. And if they're not going full blast at a highly competitive level, they're not getting anything out of it. So that's an important message. You are spot on with that comment.
So next up, with the restrictions lifting, what are you looking forward to most? I mean, I know we're, especially here in California, we're even trying to play like a shortened high school season, like we're in the middle of playoffs right now. There's also going to be summer ball, though that might like look a little bit different this year. And then, so what are you looking forward to? And then secondary part of the question, have you observed any kind of additional tensions? Obviously, there's always tensions between AAU programs and the high school programs, but have you observed any additional tensions with kind of the mashing together of the seasons?
Yeah, well, for me, I'm looking forward to being able to do stuff back here in California. You know, Phoenix is a nice city, warm weather, all that, but I'd much rather be in California, okay? And we got a whole bigger network of players here, and it's a lot easier for them to not have to travel to Arizona. So that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to.
Well, Gerry, hold on. Gerry, 1 second. What you just said was poignant because you're saying you enjoyed Arizona, but you'd like to get back home. But to me, what stands out is that you changed your business model to adjust to the times. So where demand, where you couldn't serve, you went to an area where you could do business, and you've been thriving. Every week I see events going out. You're doing your reports. So very active, very tenacious in this grassroots game you are and have been. But it's just been, I think it's been one of the things that's been great to see is event operators like yourself, Dinos, have to adjust. And then actually, I think the product has gotten better.
Well, yeah, you can't, I think I mentioned earlier, you can't sit at home and feel sorry for yourself as well. And that's what you do. You adjust, to your circumstance. And, life is 10% what happens and 90% how you handle it. So that's, that was my mindset. All right, what can I do? And fortunately, I was able to do these workouts at a private facility in Hayward. And then there were open runs in Oakland. And then at some point, I got ready to be able to actually do events, and I had to go over there to do them. So, but you're right, it'll be nice to be at home. And now if I could just get someone in Northern California to actually let me use a gym, I'd try to do a couple things in NorCal. They'll hold the dates for you,
Right.
but they won't send a contract that you sign and you pay your deposit like in normal times, because then that locks them in. And but we'll hold the date and we'll have to see how things go. So I'm hopeful after June 15, when California opens, as we've been told, that they'll say, all right, you can now do things. I mean, I got my annual NorCal Clash All-Star game on August 29th, and I was able to get a private high school for that. And, I'm looking forward to that. That's been an annual tradition. We've had numerous NBA guys that have played in it, Aaron Gordon, Jabari Bird, all kinds of guys. It's been a great tradition. So I'm happy to be able to keep that going. And on the other side, what you asked about, Jason, tension between AAU and high school guys is inevitable. And it was probably enhanced, if that's the right word, in this era. And I deal with both sides of the coin, obviously. And I've told both sides just one thing: talk to the other guy. Don't go behind his back. Communicate with him. It's not going to work out perfect, just exactly how you want it. Guys should at least try to work together. You're going to have to make sacrifices. So, but that was my message. One AAU guy called me and specifically said, what do I do? I said, call the high school coach, talk to him, work together. And that was the only message I had. And I know if we put ourselves in their shoes, you want the kid for you, he wants him for him, there's going to be conflict. But if you communicate with the other guy instead of going behind his back, it's going to be better. I mean, I ran into an AAU guy the other day, and he said, oh, wow. The high school coaches are saying if the kid plays any AAU before they're done, he's going to be cut and he won't be on the team next year. And I can't deal with that. I understand all that, but my message to both sides is just talk to the other guy. And it won't be the ideal scenario, but it'll be a better scenario.
Okay, great. And then I know you had a Memorial Day Classic just this last weekend. How'd that go? Did you guys have some? How'd the overall tournament go, or the overall event go? And then did you have any standout players?
Yeah, I had done Memorial Day Classic for 20 years in the Bay Area. Obviously, a year ago, couldn't do it. And then this year, couldn't get a gym to do it. So again, like you're saying, you adjust, and it was fine. For me, it's all about the teams having the opportunity to play. And I've always emphasized that, and I'll go where I need to go and do what I need to do. And then I was actually able to do mine Saturday, Sunday, and then go scout another event Monday. So it was really worked out, because I'm a scout and an event operator, so I try to do everything I can. But, and it's always unique when in this day and age, I have a statement, things are so magnified. A kid hits a jump shot and there's 27 tweets about him. For me to use the term, I discovered a kid, is really unique and unusual nowadays. But there was a kid, a big kid from Idaho. It's a 23 that I had no idea who this kid was. And he's legit. And I watched him and I'm like, yeah, I told the coach, I said, I'm glad you came, because I wouldn't have known about this kid. And then come to find out he's got 2 WCC offers, and he's a 23. And so I got to call those schools and go, how did you know about this guy?
Now, Gerry, are you talking about Blake Buchanan?
Yes, I am. I mean, boy, oh boy, I got to call the schools that have offered, say, you must have a partner up in Idaho, a bird dogging for you. So it was refreshing to see the kid. And then I'd seen another kid at the other event I went to on Monday from up there, another big kid, lo and behold. And it's like, wait a minute, that's not well. And again, for us in California, we're going to know about the kids, for the most part. But out of state, we might not have firsthand info up to the minute. And it's good scouting is broad-based. I've said that 1,000 times. Coaches tell me all the time, tell me something I don't already know. Don't tell me LeBron's a good player. That doesn't help me. Tell me something I don't know. And it was really refreshing. Now he's on my 2023 radar. So that was pretty cool. Justice Jackson is a 21 from Phoenix that I'd seen before, who's talented. And he's a D1 player, and a lot of guys have fooled around with him. They haven't really pulled the trigger. He just needs more of a killer instinct and jam it down your throat and attack you kind of an attitude.
I thought Jackson's dad looked like he was an NFL player, and he's cousins with Trace Jackson from Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, and the kid's been playing. He's been in the gym a lot. I mean, I've had him in like 3 of my events, and I've seen him in like 4 others. I just want to see more fight in the kid. And when I just got off the phone with a coach earlier who had called. Mount West School called about shooters, and I said, hey, I told him about a kid from Prolific, and I said, you'll love the kid because he shoots it really well and he's got a motor, and he comes to play. So there's a big kid that's a freshman from Cactus High School, Brady. I think I'm saying the last name right. His dad's his AAU coach, Henage. And
I'm hearing a lot about him, Gerry. Now they said he's kind of reminded some people of Dylan Anderson, the big kid from Gilbert, Arizona. I mean, but this kid is really young, but a lot of high level potential from this kid.
Yeah. And the dad's a former coach, and it actually played in the CBA, the old CBA, which we had a lot of common acquaintances. Right. I actually coached and scouted in the old CBA. And the kid's a prospect. He's at least 6'10", maybe 6'11". And he does a lot of things. He's got skills. He rebounds it well. He just has to remember that he's not Anthony Mason. When you get the rebound, give the ball to the guard. Don't try to bring it up the court yourself. But he's good. I'm impressed.
Now tell me a little bit about the 2022 kid, 6'8" out of Vista, Chris Long, a smooth shooting four from what I've seen. Tell me a little bit about him.
Shot the lights out. The shot looks good, and he takes good shots. That's what a shooter is. If someone asks you, what's a good shooter? A guy that has a good-looking shot, that takes good shots, and makes shots. I had heard, you can tell me if this is true or not, when Jason played, he was a shot taker. He was not a shot maker. I don't know if that's true or not, but
100%.
I want a guy that plays within the framework of the team and takes good shots, and you look at the shot and it looks good. And
Right.
This kid shot the ball really well. And he's a good passer, and he plays the game the right way, and he understands it. He plays within the framework of a team. That the guy that I call it the green light. The guy has the self-imposed green light. You get, no, that doesn't work. And I don't think coaches are going to get excited about that, but he's on my radar. And fellas, do yourselves one favor. Don't go by this. Go by this. I tell the coaches all the time, the AAU guys, I go by my eyes, not my ears. So, and I say, don't tell me how good the kid is. Send me a schedule, and I'll get in the gym and watch him. So,
wow, Gerry, wow, that's a key point you touched on, because the fact of, I think it changed so much from the times when we attended high school, where your high school coach really handled your recruiting and the whole process, as opposed to today, where, you know, people's parents are handling this that have no experience. There's AAU coaches who really don't have the training experience, or just having been a teacher and a coach on campuses. So they just don't have the same care maybe for the kid and their ultimate goal besides basketball. So touch on that a little bit more, and just kind of the push and pull with that.
yeah, experienced college coaches go, who's the kid's handler? I get asked that all the time. And who's going to help him with his decision? And it varies who that might be. And you're 16, 17 years old. You need help. And this isn't like deciding what movie you're going to go watch Saturday night. This really is your future. And it's a big, big decision. And you're a 16 or 17-year-old. You need help. And, you know, there's a funny side story. Couple summers ago, I'm over in Hawaii running an event, and Nico Mannion and his parents are there just kind of hanging out. And I run a drill session, and I use Nico as my demonstrator. We're out to dinner that night, and he's telling me about the process of him deciding to go to Arizona. And he just felt comfortable with their coaches. They made him feel wanted. And he said, yeah, I'm 16 years old, and I got to call a high major coach and tell him I'm not coming to his school. And it's kind of funny. So in my message is they need help. And I tell them all the time, and I get this a lot. I say, you got to look at the factors that are important to you and try to keep it to a workable number of schools. If you have 27 schools on your list, it's not going to happen. So keep it at a workable number. What factors are important to you? Do you care about location? Is that a big deal? Or do you want the best fit wherever it is? The academics that they have and their academic program at their school, the style of play. I mean, one thing I don't have to tell them is they all look at the roster. Who's coming back? Who's leaving? They want the opportunity. So consider all the factors that are important to you at each school, and discuss those with the program, and try to get a feel for, does this place makes sense? And could I see myself fitting in there on and off the court? And you touch on a good point too. None of us are going to play basketball forever. Well, what are you going to do when the ball stops bouncing? And you got to prepare for the 40 years after you hang it up. So my message is always keep it at a workable number and evaluate the factors that are important in with each school that you're serious about. And if you're not serious about them, let them know so you don't waste their time. And you can focus on the schools you're seriously interested in, and they can move on to someone else. And that's coming from a guy who's been a college coach that was on that side of the coin. And we used to actually tell the kid, if you ever decide that you're not interested in our school any longer, please let us know.
Yeah, I think that's a tough life lesson. Like I know that I talk about in kind of just private business about mutually beneficial situations. And a lot of times it feels like one is trying to get over on the other. And really what you're always looking for is a mutually beneficial situation where it's good for the kid and it's good for the organization as well.
And it works out best.
Absolutely. So coming up, I know that you got the SoCal Senior Showcase coming up in June, and then you got the event that you mentioned, the Hoops Review in Ladera in July. Coming up, what do you got coming up? If you could give us a quick recap of the events that you got coming up, and then what you're looking forward to, kind of going. What would be an ideal way for those events to go? It just as long as they happen, it's good, or do you have some, I guess, goals for the individual events?
Yeah, well, you'd hope that it's more than just happening, but you are thankful that it does happen. I always telling it, and nowadays, you know, sometimes some of the clientele like to complain. I say, no complaints. Be thankful. Count your blessings. You have the opportunity. So, but for me, obviously, I want to put the best event out there I can. The Senior Showcase I've done for 10 years, right at the end of the high school season at Cerritos, and it's been, you know, awesome, and 75 coaches show up, and, you know, I always panic. I was in Sacramento on Friday and Saturday for the state finals, and then I flew down to Southern California Sunday morning and started my event like at 11 and lived in fear of travel problems, and 9 years, never had a problem, thank God. And I'd show up and some random coach would go, "Were you in Sacramento last night?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, did you take a private plane down?" I said, "Yeah, I did." Yeah. But anyways, this year I'm actually allowing 22s to come simply because I have 4 courts at Get It Done in Corona, and I have the space. 3 guys asked me, "Can I bring 22s?" And I said, "Yes, you can," because I have the space. So it'll be a little bit different, but if you're interested in 21s, you can focus on them and not worry about the 22s. And most people are going to be interested in both anyways. So it's been a tough year for the 21s. We all know that. All the schools are transfer crazy, and they're saying, "I'm going in the portal." And I'm like, "Well, I have LeBron sitting over here in the class of 21. No, I'm going to the portal." So yeah, it's been a tough deal. And I put myself in that kid's shoes. You know, for a while, it looked like we weren't going to have a high school season in California. If I was a high school senior, I'd have been suicidal. I'd have been slitting my wrists. And at least they have the opportunity. It's been really weird. One section in NorCal, Central Coast, has playoffs. The North Coast, O'Dowd plays tomorrow, and they're done. That's it. Okay. Sac Joaquin section, they're done. So no playoffs at all. But at least they had some opportunity to play. Now in the South, we go till June 19th, and you know there's a funny conflict with Section 7 coming up, but there will be a South champion, but there will be no state champion. But anyways, I want to put kids on the radar however I can. And then the nice thing when you live stream, it's archived, so the coach doesn't have to watch it when the game's being played. They can watch it at any time. And I'm obviously recruiting for my July event, the summer hoop review at Ladera. And I told a couple of the AAU guys I spoke to yesterday, actually spoke to one guy from Tokyo for a good while, but I said, no coach is going to watch the live stream when the games are going on, because he's going to be in a gym somewhere. But it's archived, so he can go back and watch it later. And then when I put out a report and he sees a kid on there that I'm speaking positively about, he's going to call me or text me, and then he's going to go check out that live stream. So it serves a great purpose in my view and my task. If I was at the mall and met somebody who had no clue what a basketball scout is, my task is real simple. Connect a kid with a college and a college with a kid. And if that happens, that's a hell of a thing, in my view. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity to see so many more and some different kids, as well as providing them the opportunity. And, hopefully every guy that runs an event, has that kind of mindset. And coaches basically are saying, thank God I get to actually go out and watch games. Boy, put yourself, guys, in a D1 coach's shoes. Do you understand they haven't been off campus in 15 months?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I tell this a lot, and longtime friend, and him and I have spoke about this. Stan Johnson at Loyola signed 3 kids early, never saw him play in person in his life, never met them face to face. And he couldn't, because you couldn't even have a kid come on campus and meet with him. It was illegal. So imagine that. You're a D1 coach and you sign a kid you haven't seen play. And then the other day, I'm talking to a coach about a kid I really like, and he goes, I'm excited about the kid, but I got to watch him play. I hear you. So funny world, but like I say, you guys let Newsom know I'm counting on him. June 15th, all right? June 15th.
It's either that or the recall, right? Yep.
Hey, dude, if he don't open this thing, consider recall done.
Right. Yeah.
So, and it's all about the kids getting the opportunity, plain and simple. I say to the kid, when I speak to the kids, ask your mom and dad if there's anything more important to them than your future, and see what they say. The kids in their future, that's everything. And we need to always be cognizant of that.
So last topic, Gerry, kind of your opinion. So a couple of new leagues have popped up specifically aimed at high-level high school talent. There's an overtime high school league that's going to be starting up here soon. And then we had our first high school player who's going to bypass not just college, but his senior year, and is signing a 2-year deal with Team Ignite in the G League. What is your opinion on kind of this paying high school players to play basketball kind of way that we're going?
Yeah, and it's funny on this topic, I just saw an email about a half an hour ago that a foreign kid signed with overtime. You can look at it from both sides of the coin. I will say education is everything in life, okay, because none of us play forever. That's a very important point. I remember 20 years ago, Tyson Chandler declared for the draft, and I saw him in the gym, and I said, congratulations. And I said, if you go get your education, you'll send a tremendous message to kids. And and then when Lonzo Ball declared, I said, are you going to go back and try to finish school one day? And Lonzo's a great kid and all that, but he looked at me like I was crazy. So education is everything. But one of the nice things about basketball is a lot of us, all of us, can make a living at it. And if someone who's a pro tennis player at 15 years old goes and plays on the circuit, nobody says anything. So why is it that everybody has all these opinions about basketball? If you can make a living at it and help provide for your family at the same time, more power to you. And let's not deny that opportunity. So essentially what I'm saying, I think it has to be done on a case-by-case basis, each individual. Now, if they're good enough to do it, they got to do their homework, their research, and get honest evaluations and opinions. And if they're good enough to do it, they should have that opportunity. But don't be unrealistic and say, you know, I'm a lottery pick and I want to get myself ready when you might be a Division II player. So, but it does serve a purpose in this current world.
Yeah, and I would imagine then kind of the perfect situation. For instance, I know that there's a number of schools, like you mentioned, Prolific Prep, where the kids will oftentimes attend a different academic school. There's nothing I'm assuming that would say that these kids couldn't actually go to school and still play on their semi-professional team, either in the overtime league or with Team Ignite. So I would imagine that would kind of be like the perfect situation where a kid just decided they could kind of continue, very similar to a professional tennis player. Professional tennis players are still enrolled in high schools and then just go to their events kind of in between.
Yeah, then to me, what you're describing is the best of both worlds, if that can happen. Because I would always encourage, and when I talk to NBA guys, I say, well, what are you going to do when you stop playing? And hopefully they have a plan. And so if education still becomes a factor in your life, even though you're going to make money playing basketball, to me, that's a good thing.
Gerry, just real quick, in CIF state history, I want your top 3 players in California history. We got a minute 45 countdown, but I want to know from the professional, from the guy, the ball coach, who are the 3 top players in CIF state history in California?
Well, one of them is easy at the guard position, Jay Kidd. I mean, he was a cult figure. I mean, you'd see 3,000 people at a game. I mean, Lonzo had that 20 years later, but Jay Kidd he's the most dominant high school guard I've seen. Now, the big redhead down in San Diego, it's hard to argue against him. You know, I mean, if you saw the guy,
talk about it. No, talk about it.
Oh, just the skills and the difficulty to guard. What a tough matchup. So I'd have to put him on the radar as a no-brainer. I mean, okay. But we've had so many. Pick those 2. That third one might be a struggle because there's been so many that we've had, and you know, our state has produced more players than any state by far. It's not even a discussion. So I'd struggle on that third one, but it's always a fun thing.